Here at Kona, we do a lot of prevention. We do dips, we do food additives, we do individual inspections of corals almost every day. We really value having healthy livestock here, and that is not as easy as it sounds. We take a lot of preventative measures to try to make sure that we don't pass on anything to you guys, because we do get a lot of specimens from the ocean and we get things from different places. They often come in with all kinds of scary parasites or pests or other things which we don't ever want to get into your tanks. So we take a lot of measures to prevent that. These are the two favorite dips that we use in the store. We use Hydroplex on all of the fish. It's something that since we started using it, we've seen a big cutback in the issues that we used to have with some of the more uncommon diseases. So it does make a really big difference. We also go through and deworm our systems just as a preventative. Deworming is something that most places don't bother doing, most people don't bother doing, but pretty much all fish have worms, especially those coming from the ocean. It's very common and it's not usually something that can kill them, it's just an irritation. So it's an extra measure that we take to try to make sure that all of our fish are healthy. And then for coral, this is our favorite dip, Revived by Two Little Fishies. It's not an iodine-based dip, which many other places might advocate for. The reason we don't like iodine-based dips is they're fairly harsh on the corals. It gives you less time to actually inspect the coral while it's in the dip and try to find any type of issues that you may need to take care of. We do have other more harsh dips if we do have something that has a particular outbreak that we can use, but this is kind of our basic go-to. It's pretty soft on the corals, but it also helps to kill pests. One thing you might not know is most coral pests, if they are in their egg stage, any dip, iodine or not, will not actually kill the eggs. The only way for the eggs to die is to be physically removed. If you have it quarantined, then it gives you a chance for those to hatch so that you can figure out if you have an issue that you have to deal with. Unfortunately, we don't have the space to quarantine, and it would increase costs quite a bit, which I'm sure you guys don't want. So what we do is we actually just have ongoing dips. We will re-dip corals that are highly prone to these types of pests every week, and then we will go around and monitor everything. All of our systems are also separated, so it's easy for us to treat one system. The other spectrum of preventative is not just dipping and chemicals, it's also nutrition. Two of the big nutrition additives we like to use in here, Garlic Guard. It's one of those things that kind of feels like an old wives' tale. I've seen a difference in fish. I've also seen a difference in the recovery time with fish that are sick. If we dose their food with it, it seems to help them recover faster. It's relatively cheap to buy and it's very potent, so you don't go through it very fast. We add it to food as a food soap to help boost the immune systems of fish. Another one that we use is the angel elixir. It's made specifically for angels, but we've used it with some other finicky fish that tend to have issues with nutrition deficiencies, and it helps a lot to keep them healthy and keep them happy. The last thing that we tend to use here in the store is bifurine. This is not a preventative measure, this is a treatment measure. So even though we try to prevent as many things as we can, every once in a while something still gets sick, something still has a problem. And this is one of our favorite treatments for dealing with problems. It's harsh enough that it helps to kill any type of parasite or bacteria that may be causing an issue. But again, it's not so harsh that it really puts the specimen at severe stress. So the other treatment options that we've used and also that we recommend are by Kona Reef. So the same company I was talking about that does the dip. They also make two other treatments that treat ick and everything else. So if it does happen, these are two treatment options that work really well for treating your display tank, even if you do have corals in it, to try to rid ick, and then also other types of parasites. Particularly, we've used Raleigh for kind of the scary diseases that no one likes to bring up, the Brooklynella or marine velvet. I've seen it be effective in treating those. Unfortunately, those diseases happen so quickly. There are usually losses even before the treatment has a time to kick in, but I have seen it be effective. So one of the other preventive measures that we run is in several of our systems, we put low levels of copper in addition to increasing the temperature of the tanks. The temperature increase speeds up the life cycle of any parasites. So they break away into the water column more quickly, which is where the copper can then kill them. So the combination helps to effectively get rid of any type of skin parasites quickly. Copper, however, is not meant to be used long term, which is why we use low levels of it and we don't have it in all of our systems. That way we can cycle fish into systems without copper if we've had them long term. Some fish are also sensitive to it, so we have to take these things in mind. The other thing we do in lieu of quarantine is actually provide you guys with intake dates on all of our livestock. So fish and coral, part of the way that we upload them into the inventory system, not only does it have a picture, name, and price of the actual item, but it also is going to have an intake date when it came into the store, so that you know how long we've had it for. So having the intake dates allows you to decide how much of a risk you want to take. If you feel like you would rather wait and make sure that something is proven to be healthy and doing well in captivity, you also have that option. Another thing that we use is Mother Nature. So in most of our tanks, we actually have fish that prefer to pick at different types of coral parasites. For example, six-line rosses or dragon pipefish. So even though we do everything that we can to try to prevent pests from getting into the tanks, that way we have someone working 24/7 that has a little bit better eyes than us and prefers to actually eat the food. So we've got Mother Nature working on our side. Everything I talked about today we do sell if you are interested in it. It's easier for most people to set up their own quarantine tank than it would be for us to have a whole quarantine facility. But at the same time, most people don't want to deal with it, and we understand that. So if you want to use any of the dips that we recommend, we sell different sizes, like the Hydroplex, we sell a little baby size. We also sell the other ones I mentioned too. And honestly, it's the most cost-effective way to help keep your reef safe. Because if you do have an issue down the road, you have a disease that kills everything in your tank, it's going to cost you way more money than some preventive measures will. So that's why prevention is really key. And it's more, it's more sustainable, it's more moral. We don't want to give these animals a hard time when we have it in our power to give them an ideal life. So that's everything. You've heard some of the prevention practices that we have here at the store to try to make sure that all livestock is healthy and happy by the time it reaches your tank. So you stay classy, Arizona.